Yes.
All righty. I'm going to pass it over to Renee for just a moment.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another live community classroom with Michaels. We have our friend Tamara Kelly with us today for Crochet 101 or Crochet for Absolute Beginners, just really getting a sense of the basics. My name is Renee L. from Yarn Inspirations, and I'll be helping with any questions you might have during today's class. Please feel free to drop your questions in the chat, and we'll make sure that Tamara answers them. While we're getting ready to kick things off, as Felicia said, let us know where you're watching from and let us know if this is truly your first time or if you just know like a little bit of crochet and you're looking to learn more. Over to you, Tamara.
All right. Thanks so much. Hi, everybody. I'm Tamara from Moogly, and I'm here today with Yarn Inspirations talking about Crochet 101. So, this is for those who have never crocheted before and possibly never done yarn crafts before. So, if you're a knitter, some of this intro stuff might be familiar, such as the yarn label and the hooks, or just sizing in general on hooks, and the slip knot, things like that. You might have chained before, but we're going to start at the very beginning in case you're one of the people who's never done any of that stuff before. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on over my hand camera here, my very fancy little cell phone, and we'll get a better view. All right. So before you begin learning how to crochet, you just need really two supplies. Besides your own two hands, you need yarn and you need a crochet hook. So let's talk about one of the most basic, approachable, friendly, great beginner yarns out there, Red Heart Super Saver. This, even if you haven't crocheted or knit before, odds are you've heard about Red Heart Super Saver. It's a classic and it's a classic for a reason. One of the things that I want you to see is that you can kind of see each strand by itself. It's not fuzzy, it's not all blending together. There are some really fuzzy yarns out there. You go to the local yarn, your local Michaels, you're going to see a whole different bunch of yarns out there. And some of them are going to be really fuzzy. When you're learning, it's important to get something that's relatively smooth like this, where you can kind of see each strand on the skein. Another example of that would be Bernat Maker, where you can really see each individual strand. That's really important when you're learning because you're going to want to be able to see what you're doing with each stitch. Another thing that makes Red Heart Super Saver a great one for beginners is its size. And in crochet and in knitting and yarn, we call that the weight, but it's a little bit disingenuous. It's a little confusing. It's not so much the weight in terms of the heaviness of it, it's the thickness. And this little symbol right here in the yarn label is what you want to look for. That's going to tell you how thick that yarn is. And 4 or medium is exactly where you want to start. There are numbers that go all the way up to 7. For example, I have a 7 right here. You can see how much thicker this yarn is than the 4. And the tricky thing about 7s is it can get even bigger than that. On the opposite end, you can keep getting tinier and tinier and tinier. You might have seen some of those thread doilies, perhaps, in person or online. Those are made with even tinier yarn. Those would be a 1 or possibly even a 0. There's a whole range. So again, when you're beginning, it's a good idea. I would recommend you pick a 4. Now, in addition to finding that information on the yarn label, there's also these two boxes over here. This one you can see has a crochet hook in it in the middle. This one, those pointy sticks, those are your knitting needles. So right now we're talking about crochet. So this is the one we want to look at. This right here gives you lots of really good information, but for today, as a beginner, the thing I want you to look for is right above it where it says 5.5 millimeter and right below where it says USI 9. And get that really close there so everybody can hopefully see it on phones as well as on desktops and laptops here. So that right there is the recommended hook size to use with that yarn. Now, as you go on to crochet and start following patterns, you'll find that not every pattern uses the recommended hook size for that yarn, and that can be very intentional. It's okay. It's not that they're doing it wrong. They're just using a different hook size to get a different effect. But when you go to the store, if you want to pick up one hook and one skein of yarn, you want to pick your yarn, pick a nice smooth yarn, flip it over and find that hook size, or at least something really close to it. The US sizing can be a little confusing. It's got letters and numbers. When possible, go by the millimeter. That's going to be more universal, excuse me, and a little more accurate. So 5.5 millimeter crochet hook is the size you would want for this one. There's also lots of other great information on the label. I'm going to point out really quickly. You'll find your washing And drying information, again, Red Heart Super Saver is great for this because it's machine wash and dry. You'll find what it's made out of. This one happens to be 100% acrylic. And this one in particular has no dye lot. That means every skein of saffron, that's the name of the color right there, that comes from Red Heart Super Saver should be the exact same shade. Other yarns, let me pull up that Bernat Maker again here, may have a dye lot. Now I've got a very early one here. Let me try a different one. There we go. Here's one. You'll find other numbers on the label, and you'll want to check to make sure that if you're making a big project with multiple skeins down the road, that those numbers match. For right now, not so much something you have to worry about, but we'll take another quick look since we've got this one up here. You can see there's that 7. That's showing the weight, also known as the size or the thickness of the yarn. We've got a little different symbols on this one. We can see those are knitting needles. We want to hop over here to the hook. This one would give a 25mm hook. Now, again, whatever you've got on hand today is going to be perfectly fine to practice with. But this is just, as you head out to the store and you want to buy new yarns and try new yarns, that's half the fun of it, right? Trying all new yarns and things, and you expand your hook collection. This is a good place to start. Again, we'll find the information on what it's made out of. This one has the care instructions on the inside of the label. And then, of course, there is an actual weight given as well in terms of how much it actually weighs for the whole skein. But again, beginning, that is the weight or the number that you want to be looking for. So now we know what we look for on our yarn, but now we need to talk about our hooks. Now, this is an interchangeable type of crochet hook. So this is kind of a big thing to start with. You're probably going to head to the store and be getting hooks that look more like this. These are some particularly thick ones. These are by Susan Bates. But you can see the hooks have a bit of length to them here. Let's go ahead and open up this package together. I'm going to go ahead and pull one of these great big ones out because they're a little bit easier to see here on screen. Of course, the joy of opening live. Let's come out of the package. There we go. All righty. Get that garbage out of there. Okay, so when we look at our crochet hook, we have the handle. That's where our hand goes. We have the shaft, which is sort of right here, right behind this divot. And in here is, although we call the whole thing the hook, this is kind of the actual hook portion on top. This is what we're going to use to catch our yarn and pull it through our stitches. Some hooks will have thick handles like this one you saw right here. Some will have thinner handles like this. Some will have a thumb rest, and some will be completely round. What style you use is completely up to you and what your hand likes to use with the yarn you like to use. So if you pick up one type of hook and it's just not working for you, feel free to try a different kind. The last thing I really wanted to point out about these hooks is that's where you find the size. So again, every hook manufacturer is going to put it a slightly different spot, but somewhere on that hook, or at the very least the hook package, it should have the sizing. So this one is a US M13. That's the confusing part. Again, go to the millimeters. It's a 9mm crochet hook. So that's going to be, you can see kind of by the size, it's going to be for some thicker yarns or thinner yarns when you want to make something a little looser and lacier. When you hold onto your crochet hook as we begin crocheting, you may find it more comfortable to hold onto it like this. You might find it more comfortable to hold onto it like this, or some other variety. You might find that it's just more natural for you to hold on to in any particular way. The two basic ways are kind of this overhand or knife style, if you will. And they call this one usually pencil style because it kind of looks like you're writing with a pencil. So again, whichever way is most comfortable for you, if you take a few stitches and you say this feels really awkward, switch and try a different one. I find that I switch to this style for really thick yarns, and I use this style for thinner yarns. So again, however you want to hold it, whatever's most comfortable for you, there isn't a wrong way to hold it. You should hold your hook in your right-handed if you are right-handed, and in your left hand if you are left-handed. Now, unfortunately, I'm right-handed, so I can't really switch over and show the left-handed very easily, but you'll hold your hook in whatever your, most dominant hand is. Now, had a great question here. We've got our hook, we've got our yarn. How do you find the end of the skein? It just depends, it depends on the skein. Some are going to pull from the outside. Some are going to have a little bit coming from the inside. Red Heart Super Saver is pretty unusual in that it is set up as a center pull skein, and you can see that indicated right on the label. If you happen to be using this one, you'll have one end that's kind of coming from the outside and they've tucked it into the end of the skein. Keep it safe. Mine might have already come out, and that's okay. That happens sometimes too. So then it will show you at this end. Let me get that really close. You can see that little red tail. If I come down here, it's a little bit longer than that, but I can see I can pull out of the center of this skein. Again, not every skein is sent up to be pulled that way. The Bernat Plush Big, which you can see right here, this really big, thick stuff, I always pull that one from the outside. You can see here I've got a ball that I've been using for a little while. It's kind of wrapped up around the outside. I pull this one from the outside. So either end works. There isn't a right end or a wrong end of the skein. You just pick the end that you can find and can go ahead and start crocheting with it. If you can't seem to find the center pull, if you will, from your Red Heart Super Saver, find the outside end and you'll be ready to go. Sometimes it just takes a couple minutes to find the end and pull it all out, but take your time with it. And, eventually you will find an end. I promise there are two ends to each skein. Alrighty. So are there any questions here on reading the yarn label or looking at crochet hooks before I move on to showing you how to make a slip knot with your yarn?
Nothing just yet, but we can give a sec.
Alrighty. Well, again, I've got a few yarns here in front of me, so I can pull up another one. If we get to a point you want me to go back, just let me know and we can hop back to one of the other topics here. So you've got your hook, you've got your yarn, you're ready to start crocheting. Step one, put the end of the put the hook down rather, find the end of your yarn, and we're going to make a slip knot. Now I'm going to show you on this really big thick stuff because I think it's a little easier to see. But again, you should use whatever hook and yarn that you manage to get in your hands for today's class. It's all going to be fine. There's no wrong combination. It's just making it work. So here is the end of my skein. I'm going to take the end of my skein and come in. This is big, thick stuff. So I want to go about 10 to 12 inches. If you're using a more standard medium weight yarn, 6 inches should be plenty. The thicker the yarn, the more space you're going to want to leave. So now I'm going to take my yarn and I'm just going to create a loop like this. You can see the end there. So it kind of looks like an awareness ribbon. I've got my cut end right here. You can see this end goes off. It's still attached to the skein. And my end is just looped right over like that. I'm straighten it back out. There's my end. I'll come in about 10 inches or so. Don't have to measure it, just eyeball it. And we just make a loop like that. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this end and slide it underneath this loop. Just like that. Okay. You kind of see it kind of looks a little bit like a pretzel right now. Now our goal is to take one hand and grab that little section of the loop right here. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to pinch it in my fingers. With my other hand, I'm going to grab that and get it down here so we can see that tail end and the end attached to the skein and pull in opposite directions. And now there's that cut end and there is a slip knot. Why do we call it a slip knot? Well, my guess is because it's completely adjustable. Here, I'm going to put a great big, this is the great big hook size you'd use for this yarn, or you could, and I'm going to slide it in there and pull on those ends. And you can see I can adjust the size of that loop to fit my hook. And when you do that, I want you to notice. Now, if you're a knitter, this is important. If you're a knitter, or if you're just new to crafting, you may be used to pulling that slip knot really tight. If you're a knitter, you're used to letting the shaft of your needles completely determine the size of your loop. Crochet, we still let the size of the hook determine the size of the loop, but we need to leave a little bit of daylight. Let me kind of get my fingers out of the way here so we get the right angles you can see on camera. You see how there's just a little bit of room there inside that loop? I can feel that it's the size of this, but it's not super tight. I've got a little bit of breathing, a little bit of wiggle room. That is important. We need to leave a little bit of room right there to easily be able to pull our hook back and forth through our stitches. If we make it too tight, then we're really going to struggle to get to make our chains and then to work back into those chains to make our stitches. So again, great thing about the slip knot, we just pull up on that loop, and now we can loosen it up as much as we like. So let me pull this out and let's show that slip knot one more time before we move in. Go ahead and drop in your slip knot questions now. But the other great thing about a slip knot, and indeed everything about crochet, is if we don't like it, we want to start over, we just pull on those ends and it all goes away. Love that. So one more time, let's do slip knots, and then we'll move on to chaining. I'm going to come in several inches from the end of my yarn. The bigger and thicker the yarn, the more inches you'll want to come in. Flip it over to make a little awareness ribbon type loop there. We slip that cut end under the loop, so it looks a little bit like a pretzel there. And we can grab, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to grab that little bit there with my right hand and grab both of those ends with my left and just pull in opposite directions. And then we can adjust the size of the loop by pulling on that end or pulling back up on it to get it to be just the right size for the hook we happen to have. Okay, so before I move on, any questions on the slip knot?
None so far.
Okay, thanks so much, Renee. Alrighty, again, if you need to ask questions, don't worry about it. I've got more yarn sitting here. We can come back to it. All right, so we have made, and if you have those questions, I see a raised hand, be sure to drop those in the chat. That way we'll be able to get those answered. The chat button should be, if you're on a laptop at least, along the bottom. All right, so we've got our slip knot made. I've got my loop here. It might not be the right size yet. We can adjust that once we get on here. We had one request. I'm going to do it one more time. One more time for the slip knot here. I've got my cut end. I come in 6 to 10 inches, depending on what kind of yarn you're using. I just take, this is the cut end. I loop it on top of the other end there. And see how it kind of makes an E. Then we slip that cut end, or the tail end, if you will, under that loop. And then we can grab that little bit that's inside there, the part we pushed underneath. That's what we grab. And then we pull the end attached to the skein. And I just typically call the cut end. There we are. And then we can adjust our slip knot to fit our hook. Doesn't matter what size it ends up with, we can always adjust it when we go to put it on the hook. So I'm using much bigger hook and yarn here than this, mostly because it is easier to see on camera. These moves are the same no matter what size hook and yarn you are using. I'm just using ones that are going to make it a little bit easier for you to see right here. So we've made our slip knot. Now we're going to slip it on the hook. You can see I'm going to need to adjust this. It's way too big. But one thing I want to point out, this is a little niggling thing that won't matter till later, but try to put your cut end, if you will, the tail end of the yarn, in front of your hook. You see how that's in front where the knot is? Because once we put that knot on, and I'm holding my hook, the cut end is this way, and this end is attached to our skein over here to my left. Then we want to just pull on those tails a little bit and get that knot, get that loop adjusted to the right size. We want it to slide easily on our hook. Give it a test, give it a wiggle. Make sure you can get through there. Make sure you've got a little bit of daylight showing at the bottom of your loop, and you'll be all ready to get started. Okay, so I'm going to push it just a little bit closer to my hook. This is the hook end of the hook, if you will, so that I make room for my hand. And again, this is a big, thick one, so I'm most comfortable this way, but you can try different holds, whatever works for you. Now, the other thing is our other hand, of course. And even though it's not holding the hook, the non-dominant hand, for me, my left, is going to be still very important. We're going to use this hand to sort of control the yarn as it goes onto the hook and to provide the stability as we stitch. Because if I tried to just, do this and then pull through and I wasn't holding on to anything, it's all going to be really wobbly. So as you're learning, one of the things that is going to be, a big step in learning is learning how to really control that yarn. You want to kind of keep it so that where you're working is under your control. Back here, it can be all floppy and loose, but you want to be able to sort of control it in your hands. Now, lots of people tension, that's what we call it here, tensioning the yarn. Lots of people do it in different ways. Some people will run it through a whole bunch of fingers. Some people will wrap it around a finger and then do it that way. Kind of like holding your hook. This is something that you're going to have to play with and decide what works best for you. What is most comfortable for you? Which way do you want to hold your hook? Which way do you want to tension your yarn? What fingers do you want to use for it? Every single person really genuinely does it a little different. A few years ago, I did a big survey. I had over 50 people send in photos, and I think maybe 2 of them did it exactly the same. So, whatever is most comfortable for you, I usually like to just put it over my first finger, and then I can kind of squeeze those fingers together to hold it still and provide that stability. I like that because that leaves the other 2 fingers of my hand here and my thumb to sort of grab that tail or grab the work I've already done or even grab up on my knot so that I'm able to hold everything really, really still. So I know this seems like a lot of background stuff, but if you are able to sort of hold the yarn still like this, it makes it a whole lot easier as you continue. Alrighty, so got our hand on our hook, we've got our slip knot on our hook, we've got the rest of our yarn attached to our skein here, held in our opposite hand, and now we are ready to start chaining. When you chain, this is the basis of all the other stitches. Everything is kind of built off of the chain. So if you're a knitter, you know how everything's kind of built off of knitting. In crochet, it's all built off the chain. And they all start the same way. We're going to start by yarning over. Now, this is important in crochet. We want to bring our yarn from the back of the hook up over the top towards us. That's how we put the yarn for the next stitch on our hook. Right now, we just have an active loop on our hook. We haven't made a stitch yet. This isn't, in knitting, you might think this was a stitch. In crochet, this is just an active loop. It's not a stitch yet. We are going to yarn over with our yarn from the top towards us. And then you can see I'm sort of holding it, tensioning it here. I'm going to grip onto my tail end as well. So everything's held really still. Now I'm going to use the hook end of my hook to pull that yarn back through that loop. Now, when I do that, I make sure this loop gets pushed all the way back off. This white hook on a white background. Let me put my hand there. We don't want it to be on this part right here. We want to push it all the way up to where it's nice and round. This is that size that helps determine the size of our loop here. We also want to give it a little extra pull. Make sure that we're going to have room for our next stitch. Now we've made one chain. We've still got an active loop. We've made one chain. Don't worry, I'm going to do that a few more times here, a bunch more. But let's look at the one we just made. If we look at it from this angle, you can see we've got a loop here and a loop here. It sort of makes a V going down into our slip knot. If we flip it over, see there's sort of one central loop right here. When people talk about the top of the chain or the underneath of the chain, the V is considered the top. You can see how it's facing my hand as I stitch. And back here, this would be the underneath of the chain, facing away from my hand as I stitch. As we chain, we just keep doing exactly what I did. So let's go ahead and do another one. I've got my active loop on my hook. I want to make sure to yarn over. You do not want to yarn under. That would be coming from the front and going over and away from you. That is not the correct way in crochet. We come from behind and up over our hook. Once we've got our yarn over on there, then we can stabilize our yarn and use our hook to pull that loop through the loop that was on our hook. And now we can go back and look and see we've made 1, 2 chains. We've got one V there and another V. Look at that there. Another V there nested into that first one. So those are our 2 chains. Again, this is just an active loop. It does not count as a stitch. Just like our slip knot, when we don't like it, we can just pull back on the yarn and it all goes away. You do it gently enough, you can save the slip knot. If you pull too hard, you'll have to put your slip knot back in there. So let's do that again. I've got my hook in my slip knot. Cut end is in front of the hook facing me. I'm going to stabilize this yarn in my hand, yarn over, and hold on to that cut end too. That's going to make a big difference in stabilizing your yarn. We just pull that bit of yarn right through the loop that was on our hook. And now it becomes the loop on our hook. Alrighty, so there's one chain, yarn over, and pull through. Make sure to give that next loop a little bit of a tug. If, as after this class and you're practicing your chaining, you find that, gosh, I just can't get back into these chains, they're just so tight, I'm having trouble pulling the loops through, make sure that you give yourself that little bit of a pull through every time you pull a loop through, and that you don't pull back on this end. It's a habit a lot of crocheters get into, and it can lead to trouble and tight stitches down the road, that you'll pull that loop through and then your instinct might be to pull back on that end attached to the skein. That's going to tighten it up too much. We want to make sure when we're chaining, especially as you're just learning, make sure to chain a little more loosely than you might otherwise think. But to keep going, we just yarn over and pull that loop through. Yarn over and pull that loop through. And each time I do it, I'm pushing that loop back up onto my handle here so I get that nice size. Yarn over and pull through. Now, if you have a different style of hook, I'm just going to bring up this one here real quick. That so it's a little easier to see. When I pull the loops up, I'm going to only pull them onto this part. If you've got a big ergonomic handle like this one, I'm not saying pull your loops all the way up here. This is the part of the hook itself that we are using to create the size of that loop. So I would put that loop on there and pull that way up to here. On this one, again, we've got a big round handle, so we can pull that up a little bit further. So now, if we go back and look, we've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains. Again, this does not count as a stitch. These are the tops of those chains. And these, flip it over here, this is underneath. You can kind of see the V's that where we were looking at on the other side here on the sides, but you can also see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can also count via those straight lines. Now, it is not unusual when you are first learning to crochet to make your row of chains, and then maybe you put it down, you pick it back up. Your tension just isn't there yet. You're still learning to control the yarn with your hands, and there is a learning curve for that. It absolutely takes time. So I want you to be patient with yourself. If you see your chain and you're like, why does my chain look like this? I don't have this beautiful row. Sometimes they just like to twist, and sometimes you just need more practice. Sometimes you put it down, and because you're new, you don't know that you put it back on the other way. Maybe you put that loop back on your hook the other direction, and that's going to start twisting your chain row as well. Just like when you're learning any new skill, right? When we learned to cook in the kitchen with mom, she didn't have us making a creme brulee. She had us stirring a mix, in a nice big bowl. We are just starting out here, and it's okay if it gets a little messy at first. The big thing when you're very first learning to crochet really is learning how to properly tension and make those chains. Like I said, it's the basis of everything else. So don't be afraid. Make some chains, let them get messy, practice with it, pull them right back out, go back down to that slip knot and start over. When I'm teaching people, especially in person, I say you're going to make miles and miles of chains. And there's some fun things you can do with them too. If you want to use them and turn them into other projects, you can use them to wrap gifts and use them as necklaces and bracelets and all kinds of fun stuff. But really getting that chaining, getting used to holding on to the yarn with your left hand or your non-hook hand and holding onto the hook with your right hand and finding the grip that works best for you simply takes time. It might look hopefully very natural when I do it, but I've been doing it for nearly 22 years. So if yours does not look like mine, that's okay. Mine didn't look like this for a long time either. Take your time, practice the yarn over, stabilizing the yarn and pulling those loops through. And that's going to take you a very long way. Because once you can do all that, then the rest is going to be just variations on that. So before I move on to showing you a couple of those variations, are there any questions about chaining I can answer? I'm going to take a moment to pull up some more yarn. What if each time it gets tighter? Great question, Alani. Hope I pronounced that right. Okay, that just means you're new to crochet and you need to keep practicing your chains. That is very normal. You want to make sure not to be pulling back on here. Right now, make as many chains as your hands are happy making. We're not making a specific project. So you can just keep making chains until you feel good about it. If they're getting tighter and tighter, you want to make sure that you're not, after you pull that loop through, you're not pulling back on that yarn that's still attached to the skein. See how that tightens it right up? And also, let me loosen this one up. Every time you go to make a stitch, when you pull that loop through, give it another little yank if you need to, and check and make sure that you've got a little bit of daylight right there. In fact, let me pull up. You're going to see me, see if I can find the end of this yarn here. Oh, there we go. Just start pulling on some strands till we find one. Let me show you this one. It's a little bit smaller. I'm making things a little quicker here. Get us set up. There we go. All right. So this is with a smaller, probably more close to the yarn you're using. Let's make a couple chains here. I'm going to yarn over again. I can use my hook to grab it. Some people use the hook to grab it. Eventually you may too, but we're still going to yarn over and pull a loop through. Now, again, let me get this the right angle here. You see how there's a little bit of daylight there? We don't want it super loose like that, but you don't want it so tight that you can't see through. If you're left-handed, it's exactly the same. You're just holding the hooks in the opposite hand. Let's see. Chaining is about all I can do left-handed. We still want to come over and pull through. Okay. And you see how I needed this? When I'm left-handed, I am a new crocheter. My hands aren't used to doing it this way. And it takes practice. My hands aren't used to holding the yarn with this hand attention. And you can see I'm certainly struggling more. I might use my other hand to pull that loop off and over. It's okay. It's okay if it isn't smooth at first. You're going to have to learn how to hold your hands here. Again, I'm right-handed, so I don't know if I'd ever get very good at it left-handed, but it is going to look the same. So let me come back over here so we can talk about that tightness again. It is very normal, especially when you're first learning and you really want to have super tight control over all this yarn, to have a lot of tension. I don't know, it's kind of hard to show that, but I don't know if you can see, I'm holding this yarn really tight. You can see it gets a little thinner. If I hold this really tight and make all my chains just with holding my yarn really tight, then my chains themselves are going to be tight. If you relax your hands a little bit, relax your shoulders, which can be difficult when you're learning new things, but try and relax your shoulders and your hands a little bit. Let it run through and then give it that little bit of a pull and make sure, angle right here so it shows, there it goes. There is a little bit of daylight right there. So yes, you could pull them too loose and then you'd have trouble with them too much daylight, you know, that you're gonna have trouble there. But this is why I say chains, chain, and chain. When you're learning, you can chain for miles of stitches. If you know, don't have to buy new yarn, just pull them out. Boop, boom. Pull the whole thing out if you need to and start over. That's the great thing about crochet. You know, unlike some other crafts where you're sort of using up your supplies, the wonderful thing is as you're learning, you really just need one good skein and one hook, and you can just keep practicing and making those chains. When we talk about the tightness of the stitches and stuff, you might hear that referred to as gauge or tension level. You're controlling the tension of the yarn as you're making the stitches, and that genuinely just takes practice. I've seen maybe one person who learned how to chain and was off and running immediately, but but genuinely speaking, if you especially if you haven't knit or done other crafts like that involving yarn before, it's just going to be a whole different way to hold your hands and to control the product. So Renee, was there any other questions I hear I could answer before I move on to single crochet?
I think we're all good.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, that helps.
All right, good, good, good. Okay, so now we've got a row of chains. We've got our active loop. Doesn't matter how many chains you've made. You can keep chaining and just watching if you want to and come back to the recording later. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's, you know, however many chains I just happened to make right here. Wasn't intentional. It's just what I ended up with. We have now, some people call it a foundation chain because this is where we're going to start working our stitches into and start building up our fabric. So this is a good little length here, 6 to 8 inches or so to start with. When you're learning, you don't have to make anything big and wide. A lot of people might make a little washcloth or a scarf is a good project to start with. You just want to have a few stitches here to practice with. When we go to stitch into this foundation chain, there are going to be some variations. It's going to depend on where we might want to stitch into that chain. We have several options. We could be putting different types of stitches into this chain, which may take a different type of preparation. As you learn new stitches, this next part will get more and more complicated, but for right now, we're going to keep it really, really basic. When I crochet into the chain, I personally prefer to work my stitches into the underneath humps where it kind of is like, I always call it the Loch Ness row, because if you hold this way, it kind of looks like the Loch Ness monster, all the little humps on the water. That's where I like to put my stitches. Other people, lots of people, prefer to put them under both of those top loops. They prefer to go in right here and work into the chain this way. Some people prefer, if you look at those V's, to go under just the one furthest away. All of these are valid ways of doing it. And especially when you're learning, you might find yourself going into this and this stitch and this on this stitch and that part of that stitch. Again, we're just learning. Don't get upset if it's getting twisted, if your chain is twisted and you can't quite read it to work your stitches into yet. Right now, we're just learning the basics and how to control the yarn and the hook with our hands. So I'm going to be crocheting that back hump. If you can't quite figure out which one is that back hump, just find a loop and crochet into it. As you practice, it will all become clearer and clearer. Now we talked about, I have 9 chains here. The one thing I need to do before I start stitching single crochets, which is our next basic stitch, is I need to have what's called a turning chain. This is our foundation right here. This is where we're going to build up. This is the width of our project. Now we're ready to build height. We've got our foundation. I need a turning chain to lift me up to the height of the row I want to make. It's like a little ladder. If I didn't have a turning chain and I started stitching in here, then my stitches are going to be a little taller than this. It would be all pinched at this end. If I put a little ladder here, it's going to lift me up to that height so that our row will be nice and flat. We need a little wall to bring us up to the next floor, if you will. Okay. And that's what we call the turning chain. Depending on the size of stitch you want to make, you might need a turning chain of 1 chain. You might need a turning chain of 2, 3, 4. It really depends on how tall the stitches you're about to make are. Right now, we're about to make single crochets, which is a relatively short stitch. So we're only going to use 1 turning chain. So what that means is we've got our active loop on our hook here. We've got that last chain we made. That's going to become our turning chain. That means I'm going to start actually stitching in the chain before that. So if I lay it out this way and move my hook kind of up here, can you see how we've got our floor here? That chain right here, it's a little tight, but right there, that one right there is going to be our ladder. Lift us up to start stitching in the rest of the stitches without having one end all squished down, without having this floor meet the floor below, if you will. Okay. So I am going to skip over the stitch closest to my hook. Remember, this is just an active loop, not a stitch. We want to skip this one. I like to work into the underneath hump, so I'm going to skip that one and find the very next one. Again, if you cannot read your stitches yet, that's fine. Just find something a little distance away, and we're going to put our hook under that loop. Now, you can see how I'm going away from myself with that hook. Okay. We are going to be able to work back into the chains we made. Down here is the slip knot. It's the furthest one away. The first chain we made is going to be the last one we come back to work into. We're coming back across our row like this. Let me pull that back out. I get my yarn wants to slide off the table. There we go. So I made 9 chains. That 9th one is going to be our turning chain. And I'm going to come to the 8th stitch to start stitching. And I'm going to insert my hook away from me like this. If I were left-handed, let me turn it around here. Get it all sort of straightened out. If I were left-handed, I still want the yarn in the back away from me like this. And then I'm going to skip the one closest to the hook, come to the next one, and still go away from me with that hook, okay? What we don't want to do is bring our hook to the back and come towards us. We're always working away from us into that previous row. So let me get back to right-handed here. We skip the one closest, that's our turning chain, go to the next one and go through it away from us, like that. So you've got your active loop on your hook, and you've got 1 or 2 loops, depending on where you stuck your hook into that chain, on top of your hook right here. You can see kind of wedged right in there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over. You see how the yarn is kind of back here? We still want to bring it up over the top of the hook. And then I'm going to secure that a little bit there with those fingers, and I'm going to hold on to my row of chains so that everything's real still. And I can pull this loop here of this yarn through the loop of the chain, not through both of these loops, just through this one right here. So I'm just going to pull that right through the loop of the chain, and then I immediately push it up onto the handle so that now those 2 loops are the same size. Okay, so if I bring that a little closer, here's my active loop. Here's the loop I just pulled up through the chain. You can see a little bit of daylight if I put my fingers out of the way there. That is attached to the skein. And there it is in that chain. And that chain right there is our turning chain. We're ignoring it. It no longer counts as a stitch. Now I've got my active loop and the loop I pulled up to the chain. So what I'm going to do is yarn over again. We always bring it from the back up over our hook, then hold on to everything so that it's nice and still. And we can pull that loop up through both of those loops. And now we've made 1 single crochet. Let me get the hook out of the way here a little bit so we can look at it. This is what the front of a single crochet stitch looks like. It's got these 2 little legs, if you will, worked down. You can see coming out of the chain below it. And at the top of it, another V, just like when we were looking at the tops of those chains. No matter what crochet stitch you're making, as long as it's standard crochet and not an offshoot like Tunisian, as long as it's standard crochet, every single time you make pretty much any crochet stitch, the top of it is going to have that little V. So we've made 1 single crochet stitch. This is the top of our first single crochet stitch. As we continue to build our rows, we'll work back into this section. So let's do a couple more. I'm going to put my loop back in my hook, or my hook back in my loop. That's what I meant to say. One thing to note, when I have taken my hook out and then I want to, mess with it or whatever, you really want to pull up on that loop, maybe put something like a stitch marker or a safety pin in there so that your work doesn't all pull out when the kids or the pets come and pick it up to look at it. And then when you go to put your hook back in, make sure when you pull down, this is the end still attached to the skein, right? The part we tension in our left hand. When you pull down on that, you see how that's the part moving in front of my hook? There we go. That's the way you want the loop to face. You don't want to get it twisted so that when you pull, see how that's moving on the back of the hook now? We want the motion to be in front. Again, another minor thing, but it will help everything lay a whole lot smoother, and it's good to make it a habit up front. So when I put my hook back in there, I'm going to adjust my hook size. Again, I don't want it to be overly tight. I want a little bit of sunshine through there. This is a stretchy yarn, so I know I'm going to have a little bit of movement there, but I still want some sunshine. And now we come back to our foundation chain, our row of chains here. And if I lay it out like this, you can kind of see we worked in there. There's another hump right there. That's the next chain we want to work into. Again, if yours is twisted, a little crazy, just kind of come over to the next section. And for now, you can just grab any old part here of the next chain that you can find to work into. When we're learning, it's okay, be as messy as you like. We find that next stitch or the next chain, next section we want to work into, and we go right back in away from us. Always want to go away from us through that chain. Now we've got our new active loop here. We've got our hook stuck through that chain. We bring our yarn from the back, yarn over, get everything sort of stabilized while you're holding it there on the hook. And then you can use your hook to pull it right through that loop of the chain. And then we push those loops up on our hook to make sure that the active loop and this loop we've just pulled up are the same size. Want that little bit of sunshine in between. And then we can yarn over again, and we're going to pull through both of those loops to finish the stitch. There we go. Let's do that once more, and then we'll stop and take another look. Go find that next chain. Go away from us. Yarn over. Pull that loop up through the chain. Push that loop back to get them nicely sized there. Because if this one stays super tight, your stitches are going to get really tight. We always want to push those loops up to get them the same size before we yarn over and pull through both of those loops to finish our stitch. So now, get that hook out of the way here again so it doesn't roll away. Now we've made 3 stitches, and we can go back and look at the top. We've got 1, 2, 3. And if we look from the front, you can kind of see 1, 2, 3. We looked at the V's at the top, and you can see that front strand of it there facing you and 2 little legs underneath each one of those. They're going to look a little bit different from the back. Again, this is the front and this is the back. And yours might not look like this yet, and that's okay. It all takes practice. Just like the rest of our stitches, if you make them and you don't like them, you just pull back on that yarn and it all goes away and you can make it again. But you can also see now that we've made a couple of these stitches, how we needed that turning chain. That's what lifted us up. If we had just started right in, it would have been all pinched down like this at the beginning. So that's why we have turning chains. A lot of information up front, but it helps as you go down the road. So generally speaking, especially on a first project here, we would keep making whatever stitch we're making. In this case, it's single crochets all the way across, ending in that last chain right there. So let's do that a little bit quicker here together. I know I've gone really slow, but that's because these basic moves, the chaining in particular, is really, like I say, the basis for all the rest of it. Because what were we doing when we were chaining? We were yarning over and pulling up loops. Now we're doing the same thing, but we go into a stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. It really is just about yarning over and pulling through loops. As you progress, it's a lot of it too is where you stick the hook. You can stick your hook so many places, but as we begin, it really is yarning over and pulling through loops. So I know I've gone a little quickly there because I want to make sure to show you a few more things here. And again, this will be going up on the Michael's YouTube channel, so you'll be able to watch it back. Now, I just put a single crochet into that very last chain. You can see it's right next to the slip knot. If you find that this one in particular is super hard for you to get into, that's very normal. For whatever reason, that very first chain tends to be a little tighter. So if you really shove your hook in there, don't worry about it. It just takes practice. It's very normal to have a really tight one right there. But now we've done a row of single crochets. So what do we do to keep going, right? This is not a finished project, a very small one. Well, if we were making another row of single crochets, then we would need to do 2 things to set ourselves up. First of all, we're going to need another little ladder, right? We're going to need to go up again. I've just worked a bunch of stitches. I don't have an extra chain sitting here at the end to give myself a ladder, so now we make one. We've been making single crochets, but we can go right back to making chains. We just yarn over and pull the loop through the active loop. Now we've got our little chain ladder. The other thing we need to do is turn our work. Flip it over, and now we're all set up to work into these stitches. You'll notice I'm right-handed. When I turned my work, I turned it like turning the page of a book. Whichever way you turn it, whatever's comfortable for you, you want to try and as you learn to be consistent. So every time you turn your work to work into the next row, try and turn the same direction. If you're left-handed, I recommend turning the other way. Go back a page, figure out what happened on the previous page. So just think of it like that. You'll always be turning the same direction. That will keep your stitches along the sides more lined up. Okay. So now when we go to crochet into that previous row, looks a little funkier back here. But remember at the top, we've still got those V's. And those V's, those 2 loops at the top of the stitches of the previous row, is now where we're going to be sticking our hook from here on out for the rest of this project and the vast majority of projects you'll ever do. So right there is our turning chain. And right here is our first stitch. And right at the top there is that V. We want to insert our hook, again, away from us, under those top 2 loops. And pull that out of the way a little bit here. So we've got our active loop, and now we've got our hook under those top 2 loops right there, okay? Just like when we went into the chain, but now we've got those. If it keeps curling, that's normal. Just keep practicing. That will actually straighten out as you get more even with your tension. That will help a lot. Also, make sure you're not working super tight. So I've got my active loop. I'm in the stitch. I'm going to find my yarn again. Yarn over, remember, get the angles here so we can see we're still bringing it from the back over the top of our hook. Then we can use our hook to pull through that stitch. Make sure that loop goes to the same size, push it up on the handle, yarn over and pull through 2, just as we were doing before. And now we're making sort of our second story here of stitches. So then we can just keep going on across again, find the next stitch, find those top 2 loops and put your hook in there. Now, when you're looking at this and you're saying, oh my gosh, I can't figure out where to put my hook. Let's stop and look for a minute. Get my hook out of the way here. We talk about we put it under those top 2 loops, but when you're looking at the stitch from this angle, which is the angle you're most likely looking at it from, you can also pull those stitches a little bit apart. And I want you to look for that little bit of daylight that's showing right there. See how all the stitches, all the little loops in this stitch sort of kind of point in towards that little dark spot right there. And if I hold it open, you can see a little bit of daylight right there. If you look, that's right under those top 2 loops. That little cave, that little dark spot, when you pull on it, should open up. That's where your hook goes. So let's get the hook back in here and take another look. There's that top 2 loops, but when we look at it from this angle, you can kind of see how all the loops are pointing at this dark little cave. If we put our hook in there, boom, that's the spot we want to be. Then we can yarn over, pull our loop up and through, push those loops back to the same size, yarn over again, and pull through 2. So we can just keep making single crochets back and forth, a little bit of a turning chain, back to the next round, or row rather, chain 1, and keep building up your fabric that way. When you work into the chain, you can work into whatever part of the chain, especially as you're learning and as you develop your own preferences. But unless you are otherwise instructed in a special crochet pattern, when you crochet into the other stitches, you're going to be going under both of those top 2 loops, right into that little cave right there. Now, we've only got a few minutes left, so dump your questions in the chat and I'll get to them as I can. But as you put those questions in, let me show you a couple more stitches that you can use as you continue your crochet journey, and that will show you how really it is yarning over and pulling up loops. So after the single crochet that we've been doing right here, the next one up is a half double crochet where we yarn over before we put the hook in the next stitch. So now we've got our active loop, a yarn over, and the stitch on our hook. We yarn over and pull a loop up through that stitch. So now we've still got 3 loops on our hook, our active loop, our yarn over, and the loop we just pulled through. And to finish this one, we yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Just like that. So it's a little bit taller of a stitch. Let's do one more of those. A half double crochet, it's just the name. Yarn over. Find that little cave there, look closely. Find the top 2 loops. Insert our hook. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2. Or excuse me, pull through all 3. So used to saying pull through 2 now from doing the single crochets. So that's a half double crochet. And then finally, the last stitch that I want to show you today specifically is another really popular stitch. I'd say single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet are the most popular ones. Again, this is down the road after you've practiced your chaining and eventually your single crochet. We'll just show you real quick. A double crochet is yarn over, again, bring it from the back, insert the hook in the next stitch, yarn over again, pull that loop up through the stitch. Just like the half double crochet, we've got 3 loops on the hook, but now we're going to yarn over and pull through just 2 of them, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. So it's a really tall stitch. Now again, the half double crochet and the double crochet, those are for down the road. Today, for the next week probably, as you're just learning to crochet, the big thing to focus on is really making those chains. Once you feel like you're really comfortable making those chains, then go ahead and add in the single crochet and then eventually the other ones. I see a great question that popped up. Is it normal to actually use your hook to wrap the yarn over? Absolutely. I really wanted to point it out. You yarn over because we're learning, but as you're going, it's very normal to just use your hook to sort of grab it. And just grab it like that. And then it's over your hook. Both of those work really well. Like I say, since this is Crochet 101, I'm really emphasizing the pulling it over like this while you get used to it. As you practice and as you get used to tensioning the yarn and using the hook and holding everything just in position, a lot of these things will become much, much more natural. I definitely have been known to throw, especially when I was learning to knit after learning to crochet, I really was kind of throwing projects across the room because it can be very awkward to get our hands used to this. So don't feel bad if you're not getting it right away. It's simply going to take some time. I did have one question. Go over that last stitch again, the double crochet. Like I said, this is a little further down the road, but I just wanted to show you what you can do and how each stitch really builds off those yarn overs and pull throughs. You yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So it's really just the yarning over and pulling through. I saw a couple more questions. I wasn't able to read them all as I was demonstrating. Can you help me out, Renee?
Sure thing. Okay, Andrew said, will you go over the Andrew said, will you go over that last stitch again? I think we did that.
Yeah, that's what we just did.
Alex said, how do you get a straight line at the ends as we build?
That's a great question. And there will be a recording afterwards. I saw that just pop up as well. This will be going up on the Michael's YouTube channel. So for straight ends, there is one other tool that can be really helpful. It is called stitch markers. I have a little container of them here. And they look basically like little plastic safety pins. So if you don't have any of these on hand, which if you're a brand new crocheter, I do not expect you to, because I certainly didn't when I was first learning, you can also use regular old safety pins. You can use a little scrap of another, but it's helpful if it's another color of yarn, whatever you've got handy. And as you crochet, and actually with this big stuff, I'm going to go ahead and use the safety pins because they're a little bigger. As you crochet, let's come back to this row. I'm going to go ahead and pull out all these stitches. Let's say we've just made the first stitch of this row right here, row 2. I know that those top 2 loops are the top of that first stitch that I made. Remember, our turning chain doesn't count. So just that first single crochet. I'm going to take my stitch marker and put it under those top 2 loops and go ahead and close it and just leave it there. Then I'm going to go ahead and make the rest of my row. And for the sake of time, I'm going to pretend that was the end of my row and I'm ready to come back the other direction. Let's say I'm making something really narrow. I would do my turning chain and turn and then work into the first stitch coming back the other direction. When I do that, now it's the first stitch of a new row. I'm going to take a second stitch marker or safety pin or scrap of yarn, whatever I happen to have, and put it under the top 2 loops of that first stitch. So really, we're going to need 2 stitch markers, safety pins, scraps of yarn. Every time you make the first stitch of a row, put that stitch marker in the top of that first stitch. Then you can continue working across that row. And when you get to a marked stitch, now you know that's the last stitch coming back across. The first stitch of each row will be the last stitch heading back the other direction. So then when you go into that one, you can just take that stitch marker out, put your new stitch in, and then use that same stitch marker to mark the first stitch of the next row. That is really the easiest way to help you know, especially as you're learning and you're still learning how to read your stitches. those stitch markers can be a big saver. So like I say, if you don't have actual stitch markers, safety pins can work. A little bit of, a little scrap of yarn you can put in there can work as well, and just move those up. Basically, other than that, you would need to count your stitches. So let's say you're making a scarf and it has 20 stitches across. You can count those stitches every time, but those stitch markers will save you a lot of trouble down the row. Now, unfortunately, we are out of time, so I have to let Felicia and Renee and everybody get back to their jobs. Let you get back to life. As we said, this will be up on the Michaels YouTube channel here in a couple days. And you can always hit me up on mooglyblog.com. I'm always happy to answer any of your crochet questions or any of the other crafts I do about this class or anything else to do with crochet. Yeah, so just let me know and I'd be happy to help.
Amazing. Thank you so, so much for joining us today for this live community classroom with Michaels. Don't forget to share your work with hashtag Make It With Michaels and hashtag Yarnspo. That's YARNSPO. It makes our day, it makes our jobs, it makes our whole lives to see all the things that you guys are working on. And just a reminder, you can find more classes on the Michaels website, and the recording of today's class will be on the YouTube channel. Highly recommend, because you can slow it down, you can pause, you can do whatever you need to make your learning a little bit easier. And for folks who have hooks and are trying to find yarns, if you go to the Michaels website, you can search by yarn weight. So if you had about a 5.50, maybe a Red Heart Super Saver. If you had about a 4, Bernat Softy Baby would be amazing. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Have a great day.